All right. Dogs and Reckless one versus Anaxiomancer with a team of Pokemon that may or may not have a name.
Probably doesn't, but it could.
It could. It possibly could. And we will check on this eventually. But at the moment, the stare down is strong. We've got the fuzzy little spider over there, the Galvantula for Anaximancer probably as the lead.
Yep.
Reckless one calling it, going straight for his fire Pokemon, the Victini.
Yeah, the good thing is the spider's going to be probably more than likely sashed. So, oh, and he swaps. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty good for damage taken from a V create. We see some
No doubt.
recoil damage there.
No doubt. That's a big scary move, but now Reckless going to be looking to pivot out of this. Be interesting to see who he swaps to. Probably going to be his fairy type, or his Suicune.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Even he could even stay in and make the call, go for one of his electric attacks. It hasn't been an attack drop, and with only one speed drop, he's still going to be faster than a Slowbro. Methinks.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just kind of sketchy because that Scald would do a lot. Oh, predicting the
Yeah,
Thunder Wave. Good swap by Reckless. Now that's an interesting. Wow, Reckless is just on a different level right now. Predicting the Thunder Wave and then predicting the swap. Just really beautiful transition there.
yeah. The question is just what do they threaten each other with here? Reckless taking as an opportunity to get his stealth rocks out. An Axiomancer getting some chip. Notably, the Intimidate is not on the Garchomp. That's very important for the interaction here.
Both players likely in the tank. Nope. Looks like it was an Axiomancer taking his time trying to figure out what to pivot to. Interesting swap going into your fighting type against a flying ground type.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to have the Ice Punch for
Yeah.
coverage, especially with the fist ability. He's quite a fister. He's known to get his
Mm.
fists right up in there.
I have heard that.
Right up in there.
I have heard that.
Oh,
Ooh,
fat
big
crit.
ice punch.
I'm curious how much that crit mattered. I imagine it's going to, because Sylveon's not necessarily a slouch on the bulk, but more typically specially defensive than
Yeah, it
physically
doesn't like
defensive, if I
physical.
recall.
It does not like the physical attacks that much. Oh, and Conqueror just showing off that assault vest right now.
Yeah, barely hanging on 6%.
I
Manectric will be
am,
able to finish it off here, possibly with a Volt Switch. Yeah,
you
keep the
know,
momentum.
I don't. I think he's choiced because he kept using Ice Punch. That would have been a great time to use Drain Punch, right? So he, being that he didn't swap, I would like to say that that Conqueror was probably actually choice, which is a weird thing to do. I would have kept him probably with Assault Vest, but
Could still be an Assault Vest and just a choice of the player.
100%, 100%. But now we have Sheilab out here looking to make a name for herself, but she was Sash. That Sash isn't going to do diddly for her now.
If sashed, we've also seen him run it with a life orb, in which case the Suicune is very scared of those thunders. Perfect accuracy thunder with a tinted lens, but no, sees the switch coming. Oh, it's actually got leftovers. We see it heal in there, but
Yeah,
does get the sticky web out.
it makes me want to think, what else does this Manectric have that could really pressure this Shelob? See, now he's going to be able to get another Sticky Web out. Oh, he goes for the Giga Drain. I actually
Yeah,
kind of like this.
sticky web you don't layer like that. You just get the single
Is
layer
that
out.
right?
Yeah, yeah. He would
Ooh,
only want to save the spider if he's worried about Reckless removing the sticky
yeah.
web.
Good to know, good to know. Yeah, that Flamethrower was definitely the move. Uh,
There's a
Hidden
hidden
Power
power.
Ice.
Definitely gonna assume ice on that hidden power for
Yeah,
sure.
Hidden Power Ice, no doubt.
big thing here is if that Manectric goes down, everything after this, besides the Landorus with it not being grounded, is going to be slower. Reckless does have to continue to get value out of this Manectric.
I don't. It's tough because we haven't seen Jirachi make the field yet. Slowbro has got regenerators, so he's probably going to be a little less than 100% health right now, but still pretty high up. But Reckless has got a deep tank still. It's definitely an uphill battle for an Axiomancer to get some momentum back.
And the big point on that is that it's going to have the flamethrower we've seen for the Jirachi. We know it's got the
Hmm.
electric moves for the Slowbro. It has its action on them. It really is up to this Gardevoir to survive a hit and, confirm the kill. Someone's definitely in the think tank here.
Yeah, I think that ultimately Reckless can lean on Victini though. But no doubt, I think if an Axiomancer wants to try to get any amount of momentum back here, he's got to put this Manectric down.
Yeah, the goal with his team, it seems very clear. He's got those two high point Pokemon. Just get the sticky web out there in order to remove the Gardevoir and Garchomp's speed adversaries and just sweep away with them. But there we see Suicune just eating that hyper voice like it was almost nothing. I mean, still a respectable hit at 41%, showing the power that this Mega Gardevoir has, but it's gonna buy Reckless a second to breathe here.
I think if you're an Axiomancer, you got to just jam Hyper Voice. I don't think you give him a chance to set up. I think you just try to whittle him down. I could see how you could be tempted to switch to your Slowbro here, um, or even Jirachi, but I don't think that would be the right play.
Yeah, you gotta consider your Gardevoir's health and how many things it needs to take out here. The rocks being the big thing stopping you from swapping around. Yeah, continues to spam the hyper voice. Some more damage off the Scald. Just trying to get whatever, Reckless can afford to throw Mon into this thing. He doesn't really have a choice otherwise, really.
Yep. Curious to see who do we see come out next. We know Manectric is faster, and we know a Volt Switch will do more than 20%. So if he wants
Well,
to do a
the
quick pivot.
the big issue here is again that sticky web.
Oh yeah, he didn't have the sticky web on his first. That's true. True. Ooh, Victini, that's a tall order, but I'm curious. I mean, Hyper Voice on Gardevoir is pretty big, strong move.
Yeah,
I'm
but the
curious if it
fire typing will resist the fairy.
true.
He's gonna have to go for some of his coverage here, and it really depends on what coverage he has. He could attack the psychic typing of Victini.
I don't know what type of can Gardevoir learn any kind of dark or ghost type moves?
I assume Shadow Ball. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, with its fairy typing, Dark Pulse is kind of out.
Yeah.
But it does have a very vast move pool, given a good portion of that is fantastic supportive moves.
Well, he could swap into Slowbro. Slowbro's already shown that he can take his biggest punch, and then Slowbro just flicks Skull. And if Keldeo comes in, maybe the Skull procs, that would be pretty huge to get that burn off.
Yeah, it's a great thing to point out that the Scald is
Ooh.
very good into everything besides the Keldeo. There we see the damage come through. It's gonna be up to Slowbro to close out on the Victini and try and get some more damage in. Another big Bolt Strike and a Paralyze hack. Slowbro's speed is already so low that the speed drop doesn't really matter, but a para hack could just be the end for him.
Well, being that the genie can come into play and not deal with the speed, I mean, he could just keep both. I mean, really either one, but preferably the genie in the back pocket. He needs to sweep this out. I think the genie can handle both these Pokemon.
Yeah, the big question for that is if they have coverage for him, if they're bringing the ice punch, if they're bringing the ice beam. But we're seeing the recoil there. So that's going to be a big cut onto the option of flinch hacking it out.
Probably a little too late to be worrying about stealth rocks, but I think you're better off just praying to the RNG gods for some more flinch hacks there. You never know with
Yeah,
Jirachi.
the stealth rocks is really a call on if the Manetric is low enough. If the Manetric dies to the stealth rock, then if Slowbro can potentially clutch this out with a bunch of healing and stall, then the rocks would definitely be worth it. But the Keldeo is going to come in and just try and finish it off. And there's the
Hmm.
para hack.
And we go to game two.
Yeah, big showing a super effective hidden power from the Keldeo on the Slowbro as well. Yeah, I'm curious to see how these players potentially change up their leads. We saw Anaxiomancer had to swap to save his spider, his old Shelob.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think that if you're an Axiomancer, you're probably looking to put your Slowbro out into play here. Um, he seems to have the most versatility, but it'll certainly encourage Reckless to want to put Manetric into play. So you really need to find an answer for Manetric, considering that your ground type Pokemon has a 4 times weakness to a very effective hidden power move. So um, it's a tough spot for an Axiomancer.
I really think he needs to rely on his bread and butter here, which is get that sticky web down and trust his Garchomp or Gardevoir to sweep from that point. Potentially some editing on his team for future matches, having some kind of force swap to go ahead and force him into that drop. But here we go. He's got the advantage on this matchup minus the hidden power.
But he's still faster right now, or no? Guess not. Let's see how Earthquake goes. And he goes with Outrage. What are you doing? Ah, hate to see it.
Yeah, potentially predicting a swap there, but a swap into, I guess it would have to be the Landers is the only thing he was afraid of. But even still, locking yourself into an outrage with two intimidates on you would just not sound like a fun time.
We've already seen this play out too. Bug does not like the flame.
Oof, and you can feel it in his play where he just stops right there for a second, has to take a breath.
Well, I don't love this either. We're going to see another flamethrower coming at Jirachi, who's not going to love it, but we don't know what any swaps. Interesting.
Possibly just valuing his mega, knowing that he can protect it and afford to right there. He just got some big hits out of it. And here comes the Conkeldurr. We've seen this matchup before as well. Definitely not the biggest fan of it. But we also know that the Conkeldurr does have that Ice Punch. Does Reckless make a heads up play and swap into one of his two water types?
Yeah, I am curious to see how this. There's the Ice Punch. He's got to be choice bait for sure. For that Ice Punch to do that much to Keldeo there.
With the immediate swap, that would definitely lead me to believe that. Keldeo is able to set up substitute. He'll be able to sit comfortably behind that, no longer afraid of getting paralyzed from the Jirachi. Oh, and he's gonna set up. He's gonna get the calm mines, the stealth rock.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
when
What are
you
we?
play out that stealth rock and you see that calm mine go off, you know you're in big trouble. The one saving grace here is that you're at least attacking into it physically, but we saw right there just the not very effective Iron Head unable to even kill the substitute.
Well, it's the water typing that the substitute gets.
Oh, for sure. There's a new turn though, and he has to change his attack strat on it. But with this many calm mines up already, he's keeping it physical. Half of his field can't really go into it. There's the mock punch just to go ahead and try and get some damage. And the scald just wipes it out.
Gotta get your slow bro out right now. It's the only thing that's gonna save you. Even if it's not gonna
Oh,
be doing a whole lot of damage. Oh, and he goes with Conqueror. I mean, Guard.
yeah, it's a hard call to say without knowing the move pools. The Jirachi could potentially go into it, but it always depends on the move pool. Potentially, the Jirachi should be the choice if it can get a paralysis off on it to cut its speed to allow your other minion to stand a chance to give your Gardevoir that speed win for the kill. But there, even a burn, just all the luck gone. At least getting a critical hit probably didn't matter off the Hyper Voice, but the burn just finishing off the HBIC. And this is looking grim for an Axiomancer. Reckless One has a army of Pokemon left. Just the Slowbro and the Jirachi here. The V Create just crushing the Jirachi.
Yeah, I'm sensing that an Axiomancer's had enough here because he knows that he could have swapped his slow bro into Victini.
Yeah,
And kept
but then
going
the
here.
Victini is just going to swap to the electric move. Reckless One playing it safe here, wanting to get as much out of the sweep as he can. Just removing the drops from the Victini. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes right back into it, or even the Manectric. No, he's just going to let the Suicune sit in here. Go for a super effective hidden power, but we see just the walling power of Slowbro. Just doesn't really care with that low power move, but there's absolutely nothing it can do in return. Just low power hit after low power hit. And a critical hit off the flamethrower into death. Good game, gentlemen. Good game.
Good game.